Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion from Strategic Profit Line Trading coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 45. As always, here's our disclosures. This content is for educational purposes only. I'm not providing any investment advice. This is not tailored to any one individual. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and all investments and trades involve risk. Here's our agenda for the week. I'll be going over the news. As everybody knows, this week we'll have some extreme volatility, and that's due to the presidential election. Provide a quick market overview on the indices, and we continue with a lot of earnings this week with over 1,300 companies reporting earnings. Last week was a big week with the five of the Mag 7 reporting, and the week before that, Tesla, and the fun continues. For those of you who don't want to trade this increased volatility, just take the week off. Here we go with week 44 results. We went 5-1, a pretty good week. Had three things close in the trades close they're in progress and one close in the zone. You can feel free to monitor those and throughout the week. Here's what the picture looks like for week 45. Again, a lot of earnings. I'll do my best to cover companies and things that I think will hit this week. I went ahead and I updated our options chart, and you can see we are 118 and 31 on the year, and I went ahead and I implemented week 44. I wanted to go ahead and not only do we have the presidential election this week, but on 7 November is going to be a key day with the Fed watch on whether or not the Fed see what Jerome Powell does to increase rates or decrease rates. As of this weekend and Friday, you can see that we were pretty much at 98% of increasing rates. So what does that mean? That means that if we cut rates, the bonds should and will increase. So that should also be interesting. So somebody is either going to be a hero or somebody's going to be made to be out to look like the bad guy once this presidential election is over with. Moving into the news, as you can see on Monday, we don't have anything affecting the U.S. markets. However, the Australian dollar will be affected. So for those of you trading future and Forex, be mindful of that. Moving on to Tuesday, as you can see, we got the presidential election, and as you can see, that's going to be an all-day event. So the markets obviously will move up and down based off of the outcome of that event. So be mindful of that. I challenge everybody to watch the futures market. That should be very interesting. The New Zealand dollar will have an employment and unemployment rate. So be mindful for those of you trading the New Zealand dollar on Tuesday. Moving on to Wednesday, as you can see, we got no significant events. Obviously, the market will be recovering for whatever happens on Tuesday. Then moving on to Thursday, pre-market, you can see the British pound has some volatility and a couple of events happening pre-market. So be mindful of that for those of you trading the British pound. Then moving on to 11 o'clock, you can see we got a FOMC statement and the Fed's fund rate, which is what I covered earlier. Again, we got a 90% plus chance that the Fed is going to cut rates. So that should impact the bond market. So be mindful and vigilant of that on Thursday. And then lastly, on Friday, nothing impacting the US markets as the Canadian dollar will be affected pre-market. All right, moving into the chart, starting with the SPX or the SPRI, whichever you choose to trade. As you can see, we finally have supply in the S&P 500, and that's coming in at 5808 to 5882. Be mindful that we're going to have a lot of whipsaw this week because of the presidential election. First demand zone I have for you is 5655 to 5600. Moving on to the NASDAQ, our level that we've had on the supply side has held multiple times. And as you can see, we've dropped from this area again. So that supply zone is still intact. However, I'm going to give you a better entry now that we've come in here a couple of times, and I'm going to change that. This level now is going to be at 2375 to 2592. You might as well call it 2600 for those of you trading options. On the demand side, you can see 19539 to 19296. That's going to be your supply and demand levels that are holding in regards to the NASDAQ. Moving into the Dow Jones. For the Dow Jones on the demand side, you can see we've hit this level and it's popped up. Be very, very cautious of this level, especially throughout the week with the presidential election. However, if this holds, you got the 417 to 414, and we finally have supply in the Dow Jones as well. We got the supply zone at 431 to 433.41. Moving on to the rut. As you can see, the rut has always been in a rut this whole year. What I'm going to do, these are some aggressive levels. However, I'm going to take them off as soon as I cover them. For those of you trading short term, I wouldn't recommend that this week or consider that, take that in consideration that again, we got the presidential election, but that level is going to be 2274 to 2290 and 2188 to 2171. That is on the micro level. However, I'm going to take these micro levels off and go back to the macro level, and your supply zones are going to be 2325 to 2370 on the supply side and 2018 to 1956 on the demand side. Now, getting into earnings, first company I have for you, Constellation Energy Group. No supply as it hit supply earlier this week at 288.75. First demand level I have for you is 135.15 to 126.21. Next company I have for you is Marriott. So no supply as they just hit all-time highs at 266.58 last week. And first demand zone I have for you is coming in at 197.91 to 189.27. Moving on to Berkshire Hathaway. No supply on Berkshire. As a matter of fact, supply zone at 477.83 to 485.11, and on the demand side, 434.76 to 425.19. Moving on to Fresh Pets. The Fresh Pets has treated us well all year, maintaining its levels. On the supply side, 150.12 to 159.63, and on the demand side, 90.37 to 82.06. YUMC on the supply side, 51.80 to 53.93, and on the demand side, 35.57 to 32.61. Next company, Palantir, has had a very, very good year. Finally showing a little bit first signs of supply. However, it's not, the formation has not formed yet. So on the demand side, first demand level I have for you is 37.96 to 35.54. Next company is Win. You can see this level held, and we're pulling back from there. So that level is going to be at 105.85 to 110.50 on the supply side. On the demand side, first level I have for you is 81.03 to 78.01. Next company, Latisse. On the supply side, 74 to 78.51. On the demand side, 36.17 to 32.39. Be mindful in the event of an overshoot, we have another level sitting right below it at 31.38 to 25.55. Next company, A-Lab. No supply for you on A-Lab. It hit 95.21 quite some time ago. First demand level I have for you is 55.17 to 48.54. Next company, Progressive. So for Progressive, no supply. First demand level I have for you is coming in at 238.24 to 234.06. In the event of an overshoot, you got another level here sitting at 224 to 95 to 220.12. Next company earnings this week, good old Ferrari. So that first demand level I have for you is 425.56 to 412.22. For those of you who can't afford a Ferrari, buy yourself a share and tell people you own Ferrari. And that next level is going to be 392.61 to 368.98. Next company is Apollo. No supplies. You can see it hit all-time highs this past week at 147.04. First demand level I have for you is 126.95 to 123.03. Next company I have for you is Super Micro. A lot of people got hurt with this company during the week. I'm going to show you the monthly chart. It had a wonderful run up. They put it into the S&P 500. They did a 10-to-1 split, and they caught a lot of people at higher prices. So be very careful when you're getting into new companies. Please understand what you're doing. This is the part of the risk that we take every day, but please always risk management. With that being said, that this demand zone I have for you is sitting in one at 26.40 to 21.31, and on the supply side, 59.65 to 63.87. Next company, Microchip. As you can see, we've tried to attempt to hit this level a couple of times. We've never got down there. That first demand level is going to be at 71.37 to 68.68. And on the supply side, 86.53 to 89.65. Next company I have for you is Celsius. You can see we attempted to get this level, popped out of it, never reached it again. That first demand level I have for you is 27.75 to 23.30. And on the supply side, 70.86 to 75.93. Next company I have for you is Novo, another company that's been doing very, very well this year due to providing insulin. You can see it popped out of this level already. We can see if we get another shot at it. That level is going to be at 109.12 to 103.61 on the demand side, and on the supply side, 142.82 to 146.51. Next company is CVS. So you can see that this is the level that's been holding CVS. We've come out of here once, twice, three times. Uh, be mindful that this is more of aggressive level now that this level has worked three times. However, that level until it breaks is 54.73 to 51.56. Be mindful you have another level right here at 48.46 to 43.16. On the supply side, as you can see, this is the level that held us. That level is going to be 66.66. That's an ugly number. And to 68.19. So be mindful of that. Next company, good old Toyota. So Toyota on demand side, 148.77 to 129.61, and on the supply side, 222.28 to 237.17. Next company is Cedar Fair. On the demand side, 34.57 to 32.42. On the supply side, 49.82 to 51.91. Next company is ARM, doing real big things in the AI space. That demand zone is going to be 79.43 to 69.10, and on the supply side, 176.36 to 188.56. Next company I have for you is Qualcomm. Qualcomm's been struggling this year in the tech industry with Intel. However, that level is going to be the first demand level I have for you is 143.84 to 139.05, and on the supply side, 191.27 to 196.58. Next company I have for you is Elf. They've been struggling since June and just free fall to the downside, down 50%. First supply level I have for you is 198.42 to 219.79, and on the demand side, 75.57 to 36.34. Courtney, if you're listening, you should have told your friends to listen to me and get rid of this thing, as it's just had a 50% drop if you're out there listening this weekend. Next company I have for you is Moderna. So Moderna's also been struggling this week ever since COVID has been coming to fruition. These companies have a nice a nice run up, and now they're backing down because people are getting their boosters annually. With that being said, the first demand level I have for you is at 34.90 to 17.67, and on the supply side, 114.29 to 129.89. Next thing I have for you is Barrick Gold. As you can see, Barrick Gold, everybody knows that gold has been creeping up and just going up this whole year. Outstanding returns. However, gold Barrick has reached a level of supply. As you can see, it cannot break this 21 area. It's fallen from here once, twice, three times, depending on what happens this week. Will it be finally the catalyst? The Fed does something and gold finally decides to drop. So for those of you who are in gold, be mindful of that this week. Instead of taking profits or locking in profits or doing something to protect your positions. With that being said, gold Barrick, a supply zone at 2037 to 2143. And on the demand side, 1476 to 1422. Next company I got for you is Halliburton. So on the demand side, 2491 to 2327. And on the supply side, 3576 to 3709. Next company is Hershey's. Getting ready for Valentine's. We're a little bit way out, but we just got away with Halloween chocolate. So this level has been pretty much this weekly level. Hershey's has just gone from this level back to this level since pretty much last October. So you can see we come into this level, go pop up to this level, back down, back and forth, back and forth. Not sure if something's gonna happen, and this is earnings going to be the catalyst that we finally break this level. The reason I'm saying that is that this level is a large level, so be cautious. 181 to 167, but be mindful there is another level sitting here at 153 to 134 in the event Hershey's reports bad earnings. And on the supply level, 207.22 to 213.91. Next company I have for you is DraftKings. So for DraftKings on the demand side, 25.09 to 22.20. And on the supply side, 45.79 to 51.85. Next company I have for you is Square. So for Square on the demand side, 52.18 to 48.27, and on the supply side, 83.08 to 87.65. The next company I have for is Rivian. If the Strangle King is out there listening to for this is for you. I know you like trading this company. These are the parameters I have for you. On the demand side, 898 to 821. And on the supply side, 1594 to 1709. So the Strangle King, that's for you. Next, I got Airbnb. For Airbnb on the supply side, 139.77 to 142.72. In the event of an overshoot, 155.77 to 158.71. And on the demand side, 105.94 to 97.39. And lastly, I have for you this week reporting earnings is Fortnite. No supply. First demand level I have for you is 69.97 to 67.93. With all that being said, please be careful out there this week. As you know, there's going to be a lot of volatility due to the presidential election, followed by at the end of the week, we're going to have the Fed possibly cutting rates. Right now, we got a 98% chance. If you're not doing so already, please go ahead and follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn for trade updates. Go to my website for news articles and lately blogs. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, feel free to email me. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button. Till next week, happy trading, have a plan, and monitor all your risks.